Hey guys, Mindstone here. Today we'll be talking about Cthulhu Warrior. This archetype was really strong once, and I've decided we'll bring it back with the new additions from the Knights of the Frozen Throne. So, more than actually being a new deck, I feel like the deck plays in a new way. It's not that classical Cthulhu Warrior. It was prevalent before this last standout rotation, so the deck's actually quite old, and it's really changed a lot, especially in the way it plays against other decks, because the meta has changed so amazingly much around it. So, yeah, so what happened? What happened was that we have these combo decks now, we have the hyper control decks, and we have a lot of aggro decks. So it's a very polarized meta, so we have to be able to play on both sides of that. And we are. We are actually quite good at that. So, before I get into the list, I'm just going to mention we only have one card from the new expansion, if I'm correct. I think we've got one card, and that's it. But the deck is strong right now because it fits the meta really well. So that's why I've decided to bring it, and I think it's pretty good. Yeah, a good thing about it is that if you haven't got a lot of cards from the new expansion, and you've got some older ones, this is going to be a deck for you, because, well, you'll have the cards, because they're old. Yes, so, enough being said, we'll get into the list. First up is Shield Slam. This is like a warrior, a control warrior stable, and we have so much armor generation in this deck, so that I feel like it would be irresponsible not playing it. If you see Lost Skull King, guys, I feel like it's not that good, and you would swap to Bladed Gauntlet instead, which is like the new warrior weapon that I sort of think is pretty good, but yeah. Yeah, we can take the comparison now. So Shield Slam is pretty good because you don't take damage from, well, whatever you shoot it at, and whereas if you use your Bladed Gauntlet for attacking something, you'll take damage. That's a problem because if you don't have a lot of armor, that damage is going to destroy your armor, and that means you can't attack again, at least not attack with a lot of damage. So it's like questionable how good that is. And you can say, if aggro decks kill your armor and leave really fast, then you can't attack with a weapon. And if control decks, well, against control decks, you don't really care to kill their things. Of course it's nice, but you have executes, and you have Shield Slam playing that, and that's a lot of hard removal, honestly. So I feel like you don't really need Bladed Gauntlet. If you're seeing a lot of control, then maybe swap one Shield Slam. And if you're seeing Skull King, guys, then it's super viable too to just swap it for Bladed Gauntlet, because I feel like Bladed Gauntlet is actually fairly good. It's a little bit of a weird card to make work. It's better when you have a lot of secure armor generation, which this deck does have that. So it's fine in it, but it's a little bit wonky still. Alright, but about Shield Slam, it's just a powerful card. You're able to remove a lot of things really cheaply, especially with this burst armor generation that you have. Then we're playing a single copy of Whirlwind. Whirlwind is good because if we're playing against aggro, it's going to be a lifesaver, especially against aggro paladin. When they fill up the board, we just have to have a way to clear that, or we're going to get overrun. So, Whirlwind really does that well. Well, one damage is actually fine. It's not a lot, obviously, but for only one mana, it's pretty good. It helps trigger some other things too, so it all adds up really. Again, if you see a lot of Skull King, guys, I would consider not playing this. If you're seeing a lot of control in general, I think it's a little bit of a bad card because it just does nothing in those matchups. Yeah. Then we're playing a single copy of Dead Man's Hand. So I think this is like where the deck becomes interesting, because what you choose to shuffle into your deck with the Dead Man's Hand really, it matters a lot. I think it depends on the matchup too, but a lot of times it's going to be Cthulhu. No big surprise, I suppose. But you got a few funny things that you can like make do with, I think, here. So yeah. But I think the card's powerful, and it has the potential to generate a lot of value if you're going for that value game. Also, if you're playing against the new Warlock and they just destroy your deck with the Asari, you can just fill it right back up. So they're not gonna go try to do that and be successful. So yeah, that's a note on that specific matchup. But enough about that. Next card is the new card from the new expansion, and Drywhisker Armorer. I think that's how you pronounce it. Okay, so it's Armor Smith, but better. Obviously, it doesn't have a lot of health. It's only got 2 health, where Armor Smith has 4, but it's still very, very powerful. I was, for a time, playing both cards, but I felt like the deck has enough armor duration, and the best of those cards are probably just Drywhisker Armorer, just because you get so much armor if the enemy's aggressive. So it just means you can build up a lot and really get that armor right now, right here. And then you don't really have to worry too much about having something on the board. Armor Smith is fine if you're seeing a lot of aggro, and it helps you beat out aggro, but I feel like this is better because it's like fire and forget, and then you can get onwards with something new, and that's just pretty nice. Especially if you want to be doing something like Shield Slam, I think it's really good because you can just gain a lot of armor quickly. So yeah, it's definitely a defensive card, so it's for aggro matchups. It's pretty worthless in control matchups a lot of times. Yeah, but then I'm playing double execute. This is just hard removal. It's powerful hard removal because we have an easy time making things take damage, but just killing them from there, that's what execute's in there for. So yeah, it does that job of just killing big bodies. What you're going to use it for is really dependent on the matchup, I feel like. Against aggro, you're fine with just killing a 4/4 with it, after damaging or something. But against control, you might be wanting to save it for like the big targets. It all depends. You'll get used to it, I think. With experience, it kind of comes to you. So yeah, I'm playing a single copy of Forge of Souls. So I feel like this card is lovely because it draws cards. We only have 2 weapons, so I'm considering, is Forge of Souls too inconsistent for this deck? It might just be, but what it does is it just draws the weapons out of our deck. And that's really nice because the weapons are amazing. So against aggro, I think the weapon, and we'll get to it later, will just do so much for you on its own. And therefore I feel like it's worth it just putting this card in here to have some more consistency on pulling it out against aggro. Maybe you won't be playing it. Maybe you'd be playing a Bladed Gauntlet in addition to the deck. Maybe let's say into the Shield Slam, as I mentioned previously. With this card, make it a little bit more consistent that way. But I don't know. It seems like a powerful card if you draw 1 or 2 cards. One card's a little bit weak, but it's still fine in a lot of cases, because that means you already had the other one in your hand, and you're not being overrun by aggro then. At least not in most cases you're not going to be. So that's pretty nice. Yeah. Then the next card up is Slam. So Slam is powerful because against control it helps you cycle. Against aggro you can just kill their things. So yeah, I think the card's just powerful because of this flexibility you have. It's good for triggering what is it called? Execute on the enemy minion. So you play this on a big enemy minion, and you can execute it afterwards, and you draw cards. So that's pretty sweet. Yeah, but it's just powerful, I guess. Yeah, it's just nice, flexible, and powerful. Then we've got Sleep with the Fishes, which is like our board clear for those hyper aggressive big decks. So there's some decks that just play a lot of small minions, and they're going to die like pretty much to your deal 1 damage to everything effects. But the decks that don't actually die to that, they're like slightly bigger. We're talking about Murloc Paladin or Sulok or something like that. These you need a little bit more damage against, and here Sleep with the Fish is really imminent for just like dealing 1 damage to the entire enemy board to something else, and then sleeping with the fishes, and you clear it. It's going to be a lot of damage in a lot of cases. So it's a defensive card. I feel like playing 2 of them is a little bit too much, I think, but you could do that also if you're seeing a lot of aggro. It's probably not what I prefer though. I think 1 copy usually just does the job. The deck doesn't struggle a lot with aggro in my opinion. Yeah, but enough about that. Next card is Acolyte of Pain. So this is like a little bit of a flex slot. I thought Acolyte was really good because I felt like you needed a lot of card draw in the deck. It doesn't have a lot of cycle in itself, so the Acolyte really helps that. But it's whatever you prefer. It's for control mainly. The Acolyte's in here. It's alright against aggro, but it's mainly to just be able to draw some cards against control. Yeah. Then we've got Disciple of Cthulhu. So this is like the start of the Cthulhu package. The idea is obviously to get your Cthulhu buffed up, but you don't have to buff it up like insanely much to make it useful. Just to a 10/10 is usually good enough because that activates the other effects that trigger off Cthulhu. But Disciple of Cthulhu is pretty powerful because it does something right away, dealing 2 damage to something. That's a pretty powerful effect for staying alive, because you can kill enemy minions with it. So that's just pretty good. Yeah, not much more to be said really. It's because it's efficient at killing enemy minions right away, where something like Twilight Elder is not as fast. You have to like play it and wait for it to like do something, and that just seems a little bit weak, honestly. Because our goal with this deck is not sticking some minions onto the board, making the Cthulhu go crazy. It's about that you want to be playing these Cthulhu buff ups, but you want to like be just playing anti-aggro while doing that, being a control deck. So yeah, the next card is Ravaging Ghoul. So this is like Whirlwind on a stick, which is pretty sweet, honestly. It's going to help you a lot against aggro decks. The body's fairly good. Against control, you're playing it a lot of times, and you don't really care what it hits. It doesn't do anything against them anyways, so it's just a 3/3 minion, which is decent, but not what you want, I guess. So yeah, but it's really very, very good against aggro. Next card is Shield Block. And Shield Block is super good because it's helping you to gain armor against aggro. That's lovely. It's also sometimes good against combo, I found. And then you draw a card. So more cycle, we love that. Not much to be said. Shield Slam's often good in conjuration with this. So you armor up and then you Shield Slam. And you're like guaranteed to have some armor to actually make the Shield Slam do something. That's pretty sweet. Yeah. Then we're playing Double Blood Racer. So this is the weapon I talked about earlier with Forge of Souls. I feel like it completely demolishes aggro. Not much to be said about that. It's a super, super strong weapon in that respect. It's against control, it doesn't do anything, but that's fine. We're often just going to use it like proc or Acolyte or something. That's usually good enough. Yeah. Then we've got Cthulhu's Chosen. So this is like, I said I didn't want minions that you could play and they wouldn't do anything, right? But this is like the exception, I think. Because what it does is it buffs Cthulhu, and we need those Cthulhu buffs. We can't go without them. And then the body is really good. The 4/2 with Divine Shield's like amazingly strong stats. You wouldn't think that they're like amazing, but the stat line's just perfectly distributed. 4 attack, that's really annoying for Priest. Divine Shield, that's annoying for a lot of things. So it's just powerful in general. And therefore I feel like it's a good card. There's really not much to say about it. It just feels good. Yeah, so it's like that mid-range minion, which you can kind of fight for the board with. That's pretty nice. Then we're playing Brawl. So against these heavier decks, those that really put big boards, this is your clear. You only have one of them, and sometimes I feel like I'd want 2. But I feel like in matchups against combo decks, 2 of them is just going to be too much because they're dead cards if the enemy doesn't really flood the board. So against aggro and against heavy mid-range, I feel like they're very powerful. But I don't feel like I'm seeing enough of those decks to warrant another Brawl. A lot of aggro decks can just be repelled by the other tools we have, so I felt like cutting out one Brawl. Even though that, if there's a lot of like heavy mid-range decks, I'm going to put in another one. Yeah, I've got Elise the Trailblazer. This card is like purely in there for value. It's like you don't have a lot of card draw, but this guy, or girl, when you play her, she puts that package into your deck. When you draw that, you get 5 cards. Lovely. I haven't mentioned, but Dead Man's Hand, if you shuffle the package into your deck, or the cards that you open with the package, or Elise, that's also great value. Especially Elise, I suppose. But yeah, that's all lovely. So there's a little bit of finesse here, because if you open the pack and then shuffle, it means your deck becomes a lot larger. So you have to draw through that. And that's good if you're playing on not fatiguing, but it's bad if you don't have a lot of card draw, or you need to draw some specific cards fast. Then it's better to just shuffle the pack or Elise, depending on. Elise is a little bit slower than pack, but it has more value. Yeah, and you do get a little bit further away from fatigue too. So that's like a matter of evaluation in the individual games. Yeah, but Elise is powerful for value. That's what I'd judge. Then we've got Double Ancient Shieldbearer. This card is damn cool. If you get your Cthulhu to the threshold where this one's going to activate, you're going to get out of range of aggro a lot of times using it. And against control and combo, you can actually get out of range of their burst a lot of times, with just this, because you can reach like insane armor amounts, like 60 or 70 armor. I've been at 70 armor, and from that point you're not going to be one shot, unless it's a Exodia Mage, of course. But I've tried just a Highlander Priest emptying his hand in my face, so his hero power costs 0, right? And he just shoots 2 damage, 4 damage with every card he plays. So I've taken like 30 or 40 damage on a turn, and I survived that and actually won the game, because the Highlander Priest just ran dry. So that's what Isekai is in there for. I feel like usually that matchup is crap, but what you can do is you can just armor up enough to actually get out of range. I feel like the deck is just able to go past that point where you have enough armor to survive. Sometimes you're not going to have enough, and if you don't preserve your armor well, you're not going to have enough. But if you preserve it well, I think you can get there. Especially if you get to play both of these, or even more if you shuffle them into your deck. They're great to shuffle if you could do that too. Yeah. But definitely a powerful card, and it's definitely seeing play in a Cthulhu deck, I think. So, then we've got Doomcaller. This guy has a lot of value associated to him, but he's a little bit slow. And we have to actually wait with playing him till we've played Cthulhu to have the real value. So he's very slow, to be honest. So yeah, there's a single copy in there for those games where we have to take absolutely everything we have and throw it at the enemy. So this is also one that's pretty nice to have into your deck, because you could shuffle another Cthulhu into your deck. So there's quite far to fatigue with all these shuffle back effects. So yeah, but that's what he's in there for. He's obviously above the Cthulhu and a big body himself, but it's mainly for getting that another Cthulhu, which is pretty powerful. Oh, and I ran over a card, Twin Emperor Vek'lor, see. So this guy's in here because he's a lovely taunt. He only has 4 attacks, so Priest cannot do a lot about him. He's actually just got a really nice stat line for 7 mana. Yeah, he blocks aggro. He's good against control for pushing damage. He's like a nice Swiss Army knife, and just a powerful card in general. A lot of times, I feel like you're going to wait till you have your Cthulhu at 10-10 at least before playing him. It's going to be pretty consistent, I feel like, getting Cthulhu there. But still, if you haven't got it and you can play this guy, you've got to be in a really poor situation to not just wait. Because I think he gets a lot better if you can get to duplicate him, of course. Yeah. Then we've got Cthulhu itself. So this is obviously the big card of the list, the one that does the damage, but it's not doing all the work. It's just against control decks. It's amazing being able to drop this guy and like demolish them. Against aggro, he's fine, right? He does something, but a lot of times the game is going to be decided like a lot before you get to play Cthulhu. But against control, what he does is just he's that big body that they have to spend heart removal on because he's so big. And well, he does a lot of damage even then. And if you get multiple copies of him, he's going to do a lot of damage over time. So that's really lovely. Yeah. So the thing about it is that this list, you could have played N'Zoth instead. You could have made a Death Rattle deck and played N'Zoth and played a lot of Dire Horns and, well, shuffled those into your deck, played double Deadman's Hand, gone infinite with that deck. There's a problem though. I feel like that deck is not as good as beating aggro. And it's definitely not as good at beating combo. And against control, I feel like you're just going to get blocked out a lot of times. Warlock can still counter you, and I feel like if they do so, you're not going to be really getting anywhere. But the decks resemble each other a lot, so that could be an interesting matchup. But I feel like Cthulhu has a little bit better matchups at the moment, so therefore I think that's better. But the N'Zoth version with the Death Rattles and Dire Horns and so on, that's really powerful too, and I could imagine that seeing play. But I won't talk a lot about it because this is obviously Cthulhu I've chosen to feature. But yeah, that was approximately the list, I believe. So we'll be getting right into a game. So we're going into a game with a Control Warrior, the Cthulhu Warrior. And we're hoping to get everything which is not Warlock, because Warlock's probably the worst matchup we have. We have slight things that can help us beat Warlock, but Warlock is still bad, so we're hoping we don't get to face that. It will be Under. So I believe that's quite good, and we should be very able to beat it.
Let the hunt begin. Victory or death.
Now, I'm going to throw Sleep with the Fishes. I think it's fine in general, but I should keep it. We'll keep it. Because this is a fairly okay anti-aggro hand, especially the Ravaging Ghoul is good. And I felt like this was nice to keep just in case we got a chance to play it. And I think we will, because now we have a really lovely tool set for protecting ourselves. And that is definitely not scary. So let's just armor up. Next turn, either one of these would be really lovely, but I guess it's fine if we have to do something else. We don't, because that's definitely not scary. So, yeah. This is a pretty good presence we've gotten. I don't know if it's Spell Hunter or what it is, but if it's Spell Hunter, okay, it's not Spell Hunter, but we could have executed the Yashirash. That was potential at that point. He's gonna start going face. Don't know what to say about that. I guess when you got on the board, he's been drawing terribly. Something. I don't know. Maybe he's a control hunter. No, no he's not. Oh well. So, yeah, let's make another game. That was boring. Yeah. Can I say it showed off what the deck was meant to do? No, I cannot. We got a good hand though. That was lovely. Yeah, but this is Paladin. Now it's for real. Paladin's hard. Not as in hard to play against or anything, but as if you don't get your good cards, you're going to get rolled over. So we're looking for anti-aggro really much here. So that's amazing, that's amazing, that's amazing, and that's pretty good. So yeah, this is what we want. I think we're ready now. We have to make sure to not hold up too many cards, because that means he's going to be able to divine favor us.
The light
Yeah, as you see, there's already stuff from turn 1. However, we won't be doing anything quite yet. We just have to make him overextend a little bit more. Most of these things scale off how many minions he's got. Okay, I think that's going to be a fairly strong play right now. I said something about not drawing cards, but on the other hand, we like cards, right? I think getting more cards for us is good, because that means, well, more tempo.
The light protects me.
Okay, so I think Ravaging Ghoul is going to be pretty good here. Just a feeling. And we're even going to screw up that divine favor of his because of Drywhisker Jailer. So this is what I say, that that deal that 1 damage to everything is really good against aggro, right? So yeah. Okay, that seems fine, honestly. So I do not believe we want to clear the board here, because those are all Silverhand recruits, right? So it's not like he's going to be playing something that scales off the board very much. And that one we don't know, but we'll see.
Reporting for duty.
We just have to clear these.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
And that is really not scary. And we'll just gain a crap ton of armor. So it's really good against aggro, as you see. Armor Smith could not have done that. If he goes for Terran, we can just Brawl, but that would be very unfortunate. He didn't, he just went for drawing a buck ton of cards. Yeah, but we want to keep the board down every turn now, because Terran's going to be really scary if we don't. And that Wolf Elf is going to be pretty scary too. Same to Patches, but he did position that wrongly. Could have had a little bit more damage from that. But we won't mind. I think we'll take it. I think we'll just take that. So now we have abundantly much armor, a good hand with even more armor, and something that can clear the board a lot of times. So I think we're good here. The deck really displays us deal 1 damage to the enemy board a lot of times in this matchup. But he's got a lot of cards too. So he's gonna call to arms. He's actually going to fatigue pretty fast. Oh, but there's nothing left. What's left then? Spells and weapons. That's quite amazing. I don't think I've seen a recruit paladin run out of minions ever. That's gotta be a first. Yeah, let's do this. We'll just be getting that Cthulhu buffed up, so we can make an Ancient Shieldbearer. So his deck consists of 9 cards. That's probably got to be 1 Divine Favor, a Valinor, double True Silver, double Railing Blade, all these things, and that means he's got to have like only minions in his hand.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
Oh yeah, of course, Blast Bolt. I think that calls for Blood Razor. It sort of has to. We'll just attack once to ready the second Whirlwind effect. And this matchup, Cthulhu's going to save. It's going to serve as just dealing 1 damage to a lot of things. Too, so yeah, just more of that. More of that same. It's got to be running out, right? I feel like he just keeps playing things.
Reporting for duty.
A lot of dudes. Even more dudes.
Reporting for duty.
Popping the Divine Shield. And Terran. Should have popped it after playing Terran. I don't get that. Oh well. Guess it's fine, right? We'll just clear the board to whatever is extinct. And we'll keep this one because there might be coming more 1/1s, and these are not really impacted that much by it. We could attack and kill one of them, but it wouldn't have done a lot. He's got a trade, right? I don't think he can just go face. Be happy with that. Yeah.
Reporting for duty.
Okay, he thought he could. I'm going to disagree. He's not just killing me. He's not about to kill me here. But I'm about to kill him. Yeah, so. Just simple Outlast, and we'll be making it.
The victory is
Yeah, there you go. But I have decided this card is actually not that good in the list. I think there was too many games where we just drew those Blood Razors because we actually mulliganed for them. And we drew this later and it was just bad. So if you don't have any more weapons, I feel like you shouldn't play it. Yeah. But with that being said, we had some lovely games. That Hunter, I don't know what happened, but leave that be. The Paladin, I think the deck showed exactly what you wanted to do. Both Drywhisker Armorers gained 10 plus armor. And Blood Razors being crazily good at clearing, Ravaging Ghoul being crazily good at clearing. We gained a lot of armor and you just like went out of resources at last. So that worked perfectly. Yeah, not much more to say really. It was just exactly the way it was supposed to be. Yes. But with that being said, I hope you guys really enjoyed the gameplay and I will see you in my next video.